Hello and welcome back to Raise Gaming and more Monster Hunter Wilds talk. In the lead up to launch, we wanted to put together a light overview covering every weapon and its main concepts, and importantly, reference the known changes from beta to launch where we can. As you might know by now though, we were lucky enough to play the game a little early thanks to Capcom. And while I can't say anything about what we played in this video, be sure to check out our review of that experience now on the channel. Hopefully though, this helps you decide which weapons to start with and doesn't give you like a weapon identity crisis, so good luck with that. They told us back in the community update that compared to the beta versions we recently used, an overall change has happened where they've made adjustments to hit detection or lower end damage output, wide-ranging adjustments to skills and elemental values. So every weapon has changed in some way, but certainly some more than others. So let's kick this off with the classic greatsword. This is a giant heavy-hitting slab of metal, or maybe bone or monster parts, perfect to cleave through your target. It's got huge hits and comes with charge-up times that are worth the wait, and so maximizing this weapon is about timing and precision and understanding of the monster. Using a mix of wide-reaching swings and slams and cuts, you can combo through to the final, heaviest-hitting move in the game, True Charge Slash. This front flip slam will hit even harder at launch because it's getting a buff to its damage compared to the beta. And with Wilds, you'll be able to make use of all the new main mechanics with this weapon too. Offset attacks to send the enemy stumbling, perfect guards to trigger the new monster clashes, high damaging focus strikes to pop the wounds, not to mention your classic ability to ball through attacks with the ever reliable shoulder tackle. The greatsword is the iconic weapon of Monster Hunter for a reason and is always a popular and good choice because of it. Hand in hand with the greatsword then is the longsword, another fan favourite for quite a few similar reasons. With its long length, it makes a great tool for cutting apart these giant monsters, but with the lighter weight, it's able to swing and stab and cleave with greater speed and often control. You will build up your spirit gauge levels by performing various spirit attacks, wide range swings ending in round slash spins, or, new in Wilds, charge up one single heavy blow for an instant level up. Reaching the highest level then, red gauge, you unlock entirely new movesets in Wilds, enhancing the basic combo into the new crimson attacks, adding a new follow-up to various attacks like the round slash for a following leaping slash. Or you just spend that red gauge level on the ultimate attack, Helmbreaker, leaping up into the air to split the world with one slash, which can now be followed up with the new release slash, massive damage that reverberates onto whatever you hit with the breaker. But it isn't until you begin to parry that the longsword really comes alive, defying the attacks and returning fire with a harder hit. Using its many parry options, you could foresight slash your way to step back and swing back in. You've got your special sheath to set up and then release at the last moment. You could even parry from the back of the seikret with your dismount attack. So longsword is an incredible place in Wilds, and it's hard to find a better time to try it. Next up then, one of my favourite weapons, the dual blades. Dual blades has never been more varied and involved thanks to Wilds, and I say that with a serious love for this version of the weapon. Your goal is to never stop attacking though, flying around the monster like lightning, never really being pinned down, always landing blows at the weak points. The monster might try and stop you, but you'll already be gone, dancing away to the tail or the wing, or challenging the attack now with the new perfect evade, the demon dodge, which makes you even stronger. At its core then, you're building up the demon gauge through your attacks, then spending it on effective combos of the blades. There's the new demon flurry options in the archdemon mode that lets you attack and move at the same time, or the classic demon mode, Blade Dance. It lets you perform a massive amount of attacks on the spot, back to back. Newly in Wilds, you get to perform it in 3 parts, so you might end it early if it's a bad time. Or swap between the Blade Dance and the Demon Flurry combo, swapping between Demon Mode and Archdemon Mode mid-attack, mid-movement, unlocking your potential because now you can manage your stamina in an entirely new way in this game. Add on top of that the incredible Focus Strike, which lets you fly through the air, spinning down the spine of the monster like your Levi from AOT. It's incredibly flashy and super rewarding as a weapon. If you are a beginner though, this next weapon might be perfect for you. The classic sword and shield has long been described as the ideal beginner weapon thanks to its versatile, forgiving nature. It's free-flowing, more than any other weapon. You can swap out of a sword swing straight into a shield block, and then shield bash into a sidestep. You don't even have to put your weapon away to use your tools, drink a potion, help an ally. And they're leaning heavily into that concept from beta to launch, with new ways to guard into rising slash, buffing the power of say the perfect rush combo to chain attacks into attacks, leaping up the monster to slam down, choosing with your sword or your shield. improved responsiveness to smoothly flow around the fight from the new chop attack, slide slashing, evasive backstepping. You're never stuck in place, you can always respond, and at launch you'll be hitting even harder with less restrictions on your movement. So it's definitely going to be a great version for the weapon, and again, a very beginner friendly pick. But now it's time to talk about a weapon booming in popularity in Wilds, and a weapon I played a ton of recently. The Charge Blade is incredible this time around, thanks to various new mechanics that actually make it a lot more approachable. It's a complex weapon in concept. You have a sword and shield, but one you can combine together to make a new weapon, the axe. We turn that axe into a chainsaw, pressing against the target and holding it there for added sawing damage. Versatile in its nature, you're able to stay mobile with the sword and shield, guard against some massive attacks, and build up power to store into the weapon. You power up the shield, the sword, and the axe to enhance its moveset and the output. And with the Power Axe Chainsaw mode, you're able to get that going by landing a perfectly timed block, or finishing a mount, or maybe you instead chainsaw into a wound, or win a clash, giving you a ton of options for getting into that powerful mode. And when you're ready to start swinging that axe, you suddenly have greater range, heavier hits, and a lot more vial-based firepower. You're always able to swap between modes on demand though, being able to block attacks on the fly, or dish out incredible output with the axe. You might choose to unload it all though in one big super amped element discharge and send the monster flying. And thanks to many changes to the weapon this time around, again, it's less complicated to actually do what you want and much more approachable. But maybe you're looking for a transforming weapon that's a bit meatier, then the Switch Axe might just be for you. This giant axe can suddenly transform into a huge sword, letting you pick and choose between meaty chops and massive slices. Building power with the wild swings of the axe and the heavy slams, you transfer that power into the charged up, amped sword. This then unleashes this electric power into the swings and can be unleashed in super powerful attacks like a cannon blast in multiple ways, such as the zero-sum discharge, letting you even attach to the monster and explode point blank. Or the new full release slash, unloading all that energy by spinning the sword around yourself over and over again. Swapping between the two modes to keep the axe powered up and maximizing the energy buildup around the sword to discharge that power in different ways. With the axe mode, you can rely upon a useful offset attack to send the monster reeling, or go toe to toe with the attacks in sword mode with a perfect counter. And with the release version of the game, we know some major improvements from the beta are about to drop for this weapon. The switching modes are going to feel much more satisfying, many moves are actually having their power increased, even the big one, full release slash, and you'll be even more protected during it with some newly added hyper armor. So it's going to have a lot of potential at launch, a lot of people are excited for it. If you're looking for something with much more defense though, Lance might be for you. Lance is that classic massive shield and giant stick to poke the monsters from safe distance. Iconic for its ability to take the biggest hits in the game and shrug them off and turn them back into the monster, it's the power guard that provides essentially a 360 defense that if timed right will power up the potential of your returning fire. You can perfect guard by pulling up the shield at the last moment, mitigating incoming blows. And new in Wilds, you can turn that shield to offensive use as well. The perfect bonk weapon all of a sudden to build up great KO against the monster's face to send it reeling. Naturally, the lance itself will make for a great constant poke. With great range behind it, you can reach the highest points of the monster from the ground, aiming nicely for whatever weak points you like. Thanks to Wilds adding greater control of say your charging thrusts, moving pokes, the newly improved poke combos, you can maintain fantastic uptime, never really ending those poke combos. At launch, you'll be able to charge up your charge counter even mid-guard. You can charge up the power guard to higher levels faster based on how hard the monster actually hits you. And you'll even have a new move compared to the beta, coming out after a perfect guard or a power guard, enhancing the moveset even further. So they're very confident in this upcoming updated version, and so I think it'll be at an all-time high for the weapon. But perhaps there's not enough boom with that lance. Well, just attach a gun to it then. This is the Gunlance, and I'm not sure gun's all that accurate, maybe fire cannon's more apt. Gunlance has truly never been better, and its popularity has soared in Wilds for that reason. You still get the benefits of a big shield for reliable protection, but this offensive machine packs some serious firepower behind the lance. The Gunlance uses a shell system, allowing you to fire off explosive bursts alongside physical pokes and swings. And in Wilds, you've never had better control of that, using those shells to smoothly reposition mid-fight or unleash them in new diagonal directions, alongside, your classic pokes and high-up hits. And this new transforming version can drill into targets' wounds, embed them with an explosive stake right into the monster multiple times, or unleash hell in the form of a giant explosion known as the wyvern fire, of which you've got 2 charges, so you can do it back to back if you want. So perfect this weapon for fast, instant reloads, unload every shell at once at the perfect weak point, chain long combos back to back for awesome DPS, and just send monsters flying with these huge explosions. This is truly the best version of what was already a very cool weapon. If you're looking for something more pure and focused though, look no further than the hammer. Why complicate things when you can slam a giant, blunt weight right into the face of the monster? The hammer is the ultimate KO weapon, letting you rain down big blow after blow into the face of your target, leading to more staggers and knockdowns than any other weapon. Charge up those hits while on the move, evade attacks with your new grapple in Wilds, unleash painful smashes with leaping uppercuts or huge wind-up slams, combo into the iconic Big Bang combo against a knockdown monster for big hit after hit. Or you could rely on the fantastic new move in Wilds, the Mighty Swing, to spin the hammer round and round, building momentum for an ultimate smash. Or rely on the new feature of the new held offset attack, timed more like a counter to set up beforehand compared to other offsets. Maybe you'll slide down a slope for the comical, classic flipping smashes, or chain any of your attacks into the bludgeoning spins to just keep smacking that monster's head over and over. It's a blunt weapon with a blunt playstyle that perfected will never let the poor monster stand up, let alone have a chance. But if you like the sound of blunt bonks, but happen to have more of a musical side, the very unique hunting horn could be for you. Combining the satisfaction of blunt bonks to the monster's face with musical melodies, where you can really stunlock the target and provide potent buffs for yourself and any allies with you. The idea is simple really, you have notes that you play based on the type of attacks you use, and after playing the right notes in the right order, you perform them in a song. That song provides a buff based on what you actually played, letting you set up multiple power-ups and then just go to town. Match this with satisfying mechanics like mid-attack, chaining a bunch of songs to play out all at once, or prepping the new offset melody, just like the hammers, letting you hold it and then unleash it at the last moment. Create the new echo bubbles that not only look fantastic, but echo out the notes that you play, improving your reach of attack and reverberating extra hits. Hunting Horn also performed really well in the beta and is actually only going to be stronger as a main weapon at launch. From internal testing, we found out that the buffs were simply too potent for you and your allies if you swap to a second weapon after buffing up. So with that in mind, the devs have actually buffed the power of your songs, but only for yourself, while the Hunting Horn is still in your hands. But if you swap to a different weapon, the buffs run out very quickly. So while you're a great supporting player in a party, you're really going to be packing the punch yourself as a main Hunting Horn user come release. Now how about a different but also super unique weapon? The insect glaive. This large glaive fights together with its kinsect, launching kinsect based attacks while you perform your own attacks at the same time. So working in unison, you deal big bursts of damage, but the kinsect also collects special monster essence for you while it goes. Now when returned to your person, it improves your power, unlocks enhanced attacks, and provides new passive benefits. With 3 colours to collect, you'll make sure that the kinsect is hitting the right spots to gather the right colours, and in Wilds, it's even easier than ever before, thanks to say, popping wounds with that potent kinsect shot. Or the fact that while you're in focus mode, your attacks will fight at the same time with the kinsect, naturally gathering essence of which it can hold multiple of now too. The weapon attacks themselves provide fast and agile options, letting you bounce around the fight. But speaking of which, this is one of the most aerial weapons in the game, thanks to its ability to thrust you up into the air, allowing for aerial spins and slams, and at release, the return of the iconic vaulting dance, which literally lets you bounce off the monster and return to the air over and over. And thanks to the changes they've made, you'll combo into a variety of aerial actions after the vault, and improve your aerial attack power by 2 levels each time you vault again in succession. Now thanks to the new way you can charge attacks mid-swing, you can also land some heavier hits with this version of the weapon, especially with that new super move, the descending slash, which at launch is going to get an offset effect at the start of it. So that super move lets you dump out all your essence buffs into one potent hit to then go to quickly recover them again and go again as soon as you can. So if you want to fly around the fight while working in unison with your kinsect ally, this is the weapon for you. But that finally brings us to the ranged weapons of Wilds, starting with the light bowgun. A great option for learning the game, but one that can be played to great effect in a master's hands. Simply aim and fire at an effective range, so close to medium to maximize each shot. You can rely on the lightweight to dash and slide while continuing to unleash hell the whole time. Maximize the long list of ammo types to make the most effective damage type count at the right moment, like piercing through the long body of a target from the right angle, or when you're up close, shotgunning. Maybe you use sticky explosive shots and pop them from safety, or set them down in the ground like mines. Maybe maximize the right element. You've got options for every moment. Now introduced in Wilds is a new gauge system, the rapid fire mode, to fire out multiple shots every time you fire, thanks to the new drum mag attachment. You do have a heavy option too though, with the new focus mode strikes called the chaser shots to fire these potent blasts with big stagger potential. So the light bowgun kind of has an answer to all situations, and little weight to ever hold you down. But if you're more of a heavy gunner, the heavy bowgun might be the preferred version. This much more weighty heavy version comes with more impact, but naturally you're more glued to the floor. Now just as before, you want to maximize the right distance for damage, which still means you'll be relatively medium to close range, and with a slower nature. But despite that, you get to rely on better protection, a guard to block and perfect guard attacks, to rely on a variety of attachments, or the many ammo types just like the light version. However, the heavy bowgun can actually clash with the monster thanks to that shield, or amazingly, it even has an offset with the right setup beforehand, which is crazy for a ranged weapon. Rather than evading the monster then, you go toe to toe and have massive power of the hits behind that. It also gets its own unique gauge to build, the ignition mode, which is more like a machine gun style of stream of bullets compared to the light bowgun. So whether you're using the rapid fire, potent sticky explosions, or raw high impact hits, you'll be able to maximize this weapon if you can handle the pressure. Finally though, our last weapon of course is the bow. Now this absolute powerhouse has proven to be the strongest weapon of the betas, and it's all thanks to returning moves, new moves, and an entirely new core system. You're able to bounce around the fight, even up close, thanks to the perfect evade known as discerning dodge that bow now has. It restores stamina when used well. You can stand back and snipe out hits, or lean in close for up close combos with spreads like a shotgun. Lean into your agility, leaping into the air and firing bursts of arrows, or prep a spread to blast the target. All of this can be enhanced though thanks to the new trick shot gauge. By building that up, you can spend parts of it to create coatings, special arrows powered with new effects, like increased damage, status, and element. Or instead, spend that on creating tracer arrows, which cause a homing effect where you place the arrow. It means the bow can accurately keep hitting the same weak points without even aiming at them with every shot. And thanks to the new focus mode tracking, you're able to aim for the wounds and pop them for incredible bursts from range, which can now be followed up by the new sped up dragon piercer, a fan favorite super shot that would normally take a lot longer to use. So across the board, the weapons had a big uplift in Wilds, and it's become a top performer because of that, but at launch we can expect increased attack power and responsiveness of moves like normal attacks and your arc shots, in exchange for slightly weaker effect of those insane tracer arrows and the fast focus mode aiming. We're still expecting it to be a powerhouse though, and well worth trying in this uplifted version. But there you have it. That's my little overview of each weapon and the main concepts of them, as well as those relevant changes we can talk about. I hope that captured your interest with the right weapon, or maybe encourages you to try something new this time around. Of course, we'll be covering the weapons in much greater detail at launch though, so look forward to that. But until next time then, I've been Hollow, you've been you, and thanks for watching.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world our stage. Goodbye.